Hello, YouTube land. I got the EcoApocalypse Truck running again. It in Halloween fashion. It came back from the dead, and I replaced all the ignition coils around 5:30, and then I had done an engine flush the previous night, and the let's see, the oil was leaking. I can't even remember it all. It's been a saga. Anyway, yeah, so I got the car running. It's the the only code I had a brief service engine soon when the catalytic converter made a little explosion, a backfire explosion, and so I sped up, and then the service engine soon light never flashed again, and I kept driving. And the faster I drove, the better the engine sounded. And then took it up to, like, faster, as fast as possible. And then the engine sounded fine. And then when I got back, I was idling briefly to pull into the garage, and then I was listening to the engine, and there was some more catalytic converter backfire. So I think, as far as I can tell, there might be rod knocking. I'm not sure, but I think the engine seems to be running fine. So so I ordered a new catalytic converter, and I'm going to a welder anyway in a week and a half when I farm sit. I've discovered there's a welder nearby there, and he has to take my muffler off anyway to do the welding job on the chassis, the box frame, and I got a repair kit from this laser welder engineer in Iowa. He uses like a laser welding machine, so he designed the repair kit, and so that works out perfectly, because if you want to put on a new catalytic converter, you have to have somebody weld it on. You got to find a welder. So I already got that lined up. And you can drive without the catalytic converter working properly, and you just lose fuel economy. So my miles per gallon was lower, and it's hard on the engine, but the engine seemed to be handling it. It's handling it just fine. It was accelerating great. I didn't have any. I mean, there was a little bit of there when the catalytic converter backfires, then the engine power then suddenly hesitates. So yeah, I definitely need the new catalytic converter. It's I can still drive it, is what I'm saying. I mean, I suppose I'd rather not drive it, but I think the engine can handle that. And so it's been a saga, because I bought the oil filter that turns out it would not fit. So luckily I looked it up online. It said the auto parts store said it would fit, but I couldn't get it in. I'm like, this is the last thing I need to do. And so luckily there was one person online who said that that particular oil filter did not fit my particular car, the same model, same make and model. So that one person enabled me to, accept the fact that it wasn't me that couldn't get the oil filter, and it was the oil filter. Because that's the first time I've ever changed my oil and changed the oil filter. Because this particular model, the oil filter is hard to reach. It wasn't that bad. Got that on there. Finally, I was able to take it for a test run around. Did I say that? Probably said it like 11 o'clock. 11:30, maybe 11:30. And then I cleaned out the garage, put the other car back, ordered the catalytic converter. So I was done at like 12:30. So my sleeping schedule has been off and I've been, I haven't been, my normal routine is I fast during the day, but I haven't been fasting because I gotta lose a few pounds to fast it off again. But I was doing lawn work yesterday, and the lawn work was like I was behind on my lawn work because I've been working on the car so much. But I put the ignition coils in super fast because at that point I had been messing with the spark plugs so much, cleaning them out. And so I knew what tools I needed to use. I knew the technique to get it done. But the thing is I did not put anti-seize compound on the spark plug. So I bought some last night, and I didn't, that'll be a whole nother job for me to go back and redo everything I did take the spark plugs out again. And especially with that one cylinder 6, it's super hard to get to reach at, but I can do it. It's just you have to stretch and you can't see what you're doing. But I have better tools now. That I had to get the right extension. I'll have to mess around with it again to figure that out. But I'm not going to worry about that right now because the anti-seize compound, it's, they should be all right for a while. Some people change their spark plugs a lot, I guess, like all the time, like apparently. So one guy said he changed them every 10,000 miles. I'm like, what? I had oil all in my hair, like, because I was under the car, because I had a huge oil spill, because I didn't have it was the wrong oil filter, and the oil plug wasn't tight enough, because it, so it's like hilarious. And I found this oil dry stuff that I spread all over soaked it up. Did a pretty good job. It basically just covers up the oil. And what else? The checkout lady, there's a new young checkout lady who said I smelled good, so I thought that was encouraging. She's like probably like right out of high school, so I don't know, but she's real pretty young lady, and That's always nice when I said, well, it's some people say it smells like marijuana. She's like, yeah, well, of course. I mean, I smoke marijuana all the time. She's like, just joking or whatever. But it was funny because um, I needed that brief levity to. She's like, well, you have a good rest of your night. So I think she probably felt sorry for me a little bit because she's like, it's Friday night. Like at her age, for Friday night, I'm sure she's out going to some party somewhere, or a hot date or something. And I think she might have been like from India ethnicity. I couldn't tell. It's like she was Indian ethnicity, like East India, or maybe she was. I I could not tell. I mean, I wasn't like trying to, um, you know, I wasn't like examining. I wasn't staring at her face or something. But um, anyway, let's see. Anything else? Um, I really thought the car was like doomed. I thought it was over. But the I'm not hearing engine knock. The valve lifter sound is back. It's loud, but it's not. You can live with valve ticking. So I'll just use the Marvel Mystery Oil. I'll use like a quart of Marvel Mystery Oil and drive around for a while. In the I'll have to take out some oil, and so there's still plenty left to do to keep the car running. But I did that engine flush. I did. I mean, I couldn't. It should have helped. Oh, I forgot to mention. This is the final straw. What this is. I actually I looked it up and somebody else did this, but I actually had one of those little spray straws get like sucked into the oil pan because I was trying to clean out the oil pan with some acetone, and that was my totally crazy um moment. And I looked it up, and it's happened to other people where they get a spray straw that falls into the oil pan, but they all got it out. And one person online was like, just leave it in. It's not. Just leave it in. And I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it in. And this is the final straw. We're gonna see what happens. And it doesn't seem to be affecting. Like that's not, because the catalytic converter was bad before the straw came in there. So that's like the official name of the car now. It's the final straw. mm, like if it was a boat, I would paint that on the car, or people paint their boat name. Um, well, it's all very boring because everybody around here, you have to have a car because it's like you're out in the boonies. Like for me to go anywhere, it's 10 like 15-mile drive basically, like 12 miles to go to any city, where they got all the different kind of shops, auto parts, and that's like the main reason I drive the car now, is to get like to fix the car. And I mean, it's the engine. They It's considered like a pretty hard to, it's a strong engine because it's a straight six, so it's harmonically balanced. But um, it does. People will sometimes it will develop rod knock, or spin a bearing. Even throw, maybe, I don't know if it's, the one guy who he turboed his engine up to 800. People like to turbocharge this engine, and he threw a rod. He threw a rod through the engine, of course, at the 800 horsepower. Because normally the car's only like 274, something like that, horsepower. And I promised the mechanic I'd keep it under 5 RPM. But if you increase the RPM, then you can clean out your catalytic converter that way, because you're heating up the engine. So I did get it up to, I might have gone to 5,000 RPM. I was just under 5,000 RPM at one moment last night. But anyway, so yeah, I definitely drove the car hard. Drove it hard. It seemed great. I mean, it was like a totally, like I knew when I tested out the car before, and it, like, the oil just started leaking out of the car, just like flooding out of the car, brand new oil. And the car inside, it's like low oil pressure. Stop engine now. Stop engine now. I mean, this is like after 30 seconds. But just like you hear a song on the radio, you hear a song on the radio and you know immediately what that song is in 30 seconds. It was the same experience. Like in 30 seconds, I knew the car was back to normal. It sounded back to normal in that 30 seconds. And then I'm like, okay, now I just got to fix the oil problem. And that took a long time, because I had to change out the oil filter and figure that out. Because I thought it was just me, because it's like that's the very first time I put in a new oil filter. I know I said that already, but it's just like it's kind of sort of like an initiation. I think, yeah, I already said I had oil all over my hair. Like it was bad. It was just a big mess. Oh, and that when I went to the one auto parts store, because I've been switching around auto parts store, because I've been going to so many different auto parts store, and I don't want them to think I'm, what, I don't know what they would think, but I was waiting to get the ignition coils, and there was a big sign that says living green. And I think I like physically got nauseous from that, because I was already nauseous from all the toxic fumes, the oil, the acetone, the mystery marble oil, which has got like turpentine in it. And I was breathing all this stuff in, and then they're like, they literally said living green in a big plaque. And I'm like, in my previous life, I was an environmental activist for 20 years, riding a bicycle around, mainly nonstop, year round. And dumpster diving my food is my main source of food, And so sorry, the cops thought I was homeless, and everybody, I still kind of pretty much look like I'm homeless or something, or looking, that's sort of my I don't know, what's my mystique? No, I don't think that's a mystique. But anyway, Okay, I'll stop rambling. 20 minutes. Thanks.